This is either gonna go really good or really bad.
That's our top speed. In today's video, I unboxed and tested out the 72 volt, 6,500 watt Happyrun G300 Pro to see if this bike is a legit budget Surron alternative. And it went a little something like this.
You already know what it is. We're gonna be unboxing the Happyrun G300 Pro. I got my boy Dominic with me right now. So this bad boy came in 2 boxes. That's how you know this is gonna be an epic unboxing. I actually opened this one up because I wasn't sure what it was, but turns out this is actually the battery. And the battery that this bike has is a 72 volt, 30 amp battery. So it's actually the same size as the new 2025 Surrons, which is actually pretty cool. You got a charger in here, 72 volts, 5 amps, cheap bike lock, which I'm honestly not gonna put too much trust in, but this is nice. We got our charging cable, this thing, and yeah, that's that box, Dominic. Don't drop it. Guys, I'm really excited to see what's in this box. It could be anything. Oh my God! Oh my God! Level low. Oh, we got the rear shock. There's a ratchet strap in here. Is that a key slot right there?
No. Is it the same? No, it's not the same. Alright, that's good.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a button. You know, one thing I'm noticing about this unboxing here is that the aroma of this box is like terrible. It sounds like how I imagine a Chinese factory smelling. Like, you guys gotta get a whiff of this. I wish my videos were scratch and sniff, dude. This is peculiar, and I wonder if this is just what comes of getting, you know, a budget bike like this, right? Oh. Okay. Dude, look at the front wheel on this thing. It's a full dirt bike front wheel. Also, by the way, got the blue one. Far superior to the orange one for many reasons. Blue is much faster than orange. What is it, a good like 17-inch wheel? It's like a Surron wheel.
It's funny, on camera it looks like 10 times as big as it.
It's like way bigger on camera. Ooh. One thing I can never understand about these budget e-bikes is that they always insist on adding some sort of crappy accessories, like a bike pump, a bike lock, this and that. Like, I don't understand it. Why doesn't that just go towards the bike, right? You're getting the budget bike so that you don't have to spend as much money, but you're getting this. And it's like, all right, cool, but I'd rather just get a bike. Maybe you could lower the price by $50 and we don't get that stuff.
You already know, as I was unboxing this thing, the tension was building for me as I realized that this is actually a very cool looking bike. So I put this unboxing and assembly into warp drive so that I can show you guys what this thing can do.
All right, so you already know what it is. I got the Happyrun G300 Pro in the studio. We're gonna take this thing for its first test ride. Now let's just cut to the chase. This is obviously a budget Surron clone, and today's mission is to figure out if this thing is worth the $2,500 price point with my discount code, or if you should just save up the extra money and get yourself one of those beautiful Surron style electric motorcycles. You can see one major difference from this and a Surron X is the fact that this is a hub drive bike, which means that the motor is actually located in the rear wheel. Now there is a downside to having such a large hub motor on this bike, which I'm going to be going over as I take this thing off road, and it's going to be up to you guys to decide if it's worth the price of this bike for these minor downsides, or if personally you should just save up and get yourself a Surron style electric motorcycle. And without further ado, let's straddle the beast. And one thing that I actually really like about this bike is that it's actually the same exact size as the Surron X, which means that even at my 6'2" frame, I'm able to sit on this bike very comfortably. To turn it on, we're going to press this power button right here, and then we have this nice colorful display. I noticed that there's actually a safety mechanism here where you actually can't put it into gear until you press the right brake lever, and then you can see it goes into pedal assist mode 1. Of course, we're going to put that up to speed mode 5 because I'm a pro and I don't mess with any of those lower speed modes. And then of course over here we got our controls for our accessories. So we got a light button for our, I think it's a 2000 lumen light, which is pretty awesome. We got our turn signal control right here and right here. And then of course we got our horn. Ready? Dude, this is literally a car horn. This is the loudest horn that I've ever heard on an e-bike. And I know I feel like I keep saying that after every single video, but they keep one-upping each other. Like this thing, you'd think it's an actual motorcycle or somebody's car. Without further ado, can we just take this thing for a rip already? All right, so we made it out to the trails, and it's time to give this budget beast a run for its money. I am super excited because I'm looking forward to doing a few tests today on this bad boy. Now, typically, the first test I would always do is the top speed test, but because this bike is so off-road oriented, I want to take this thing on some trails first, see how well it can handle some jumps, and just the general off-road beating. And then, of course, we're going to move on to the top speed test and some other things. Before we do that, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. Doing so helps me out more than you think it does, and it's free. Did I mention it's free? And let's get right into it. So you already know what it is. Got a whole bunch of trails out here today. Gonna test this bad boy on a few different terrains, but just accelerating right off the bat, this thing definitely does get moving pretty quick. Like shit, I think we're already doing 37 off-road. What the hell? What the helly? Now I do believe the top speed of this bike is somewhere around 48 miles per hour. Whether or not I'm gonna be able to actually achieve that with my 170-pound frame, that's going to be debatable, and it's going to be interesting to see how well this thing does on the road. But for now on the trails, holy, this thing is pretty fast. Oh. Now, one thing I'd like to mention really quick, again, going back on that hub motor, it's a big counterweight. So compared to a bike that has a mid-drive motor where a lot of the weight is right in the center, which allows you to flick it around a little bit more, this hub motor does mean that we have a lot of weight sitting on the rear wheel. So it's kind of like a big counterweight that makes it a little bit harder to sort of flick this thing around, which is a little bit less beginner friendly. Now, before we continue, I want to do a quick off-road top speed test. Now, I have this long trail ahead of me. It is a little bit bumpy, so it's not like your typical kind of flat off-road man-made trail, but this is a good area to do it, and I just want to see if I can get over 40 miles per hour on this. This is obviously a great test just to see how comfortable this thing is off-road, and if I'm able to get this thing, I don't know, above like 30 something, 37 miles per hour, I'm gonna be happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the speedometer app. All right, so lock your guesses in the comments down below as to how fast this thing is gonna be able to reach off-road. I'm guessing we're gonna get about 38. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm pedaling here, but the pedals aren't really doing too much because the gearing is really bad for this kind of bike. It's only gonna help you pedal up to about 20 miles per hour. Shoot, it says we're doing 39 on the display. Holy crap. Oh, this thing's fast. All right, I'm gonna cut it. Woo! That is quite exhilarating. Now, of course, not the scientific method here. You typically like to do maybe 3 different tests to see how fast you're going, but I don't know if I want to do 3 because it is so sketchy pushing these things to their limits. Trip history, we're going to go to the most recent one. Yeah, it says we hit 36.94 miles per hour. So 37 miles per hour on this bad boy. Off-road, guys, not bad. Now, also keep in mind, we were going slightly uphill, so if that was flat or maybe a smoother trail, you know, that might be a little bit above 40. So I can't be mad at that. Now, right now, as you can see, I am at the hill, or at least what I call the hill. This hill right here is like 15 feet and it goes straight up. And a lot of the off-road worthy bikes that I like to test out on this channel, I always take them up this hill. And if they're able to make it up this hill, then, well, they're off-road worthy. It's pretty self-explanatory. And if it can do it, then we're going to be happy. We're going to move on to the next test. So, dude, this is either going to go really good or really bad. All right, let's go. Woo! Whoa, dude, that was nothing. What the heck? I could probably do that with way less run up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try that with a smaller run up. Now, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the pedals on this. They don't really do anything. Because they're in such a weird place, you couldn't possibly pedal fast with them. And then not only that, the gearing is so bad that you can only pedal up to about 10 miles per hour. All right, I'm gonna just try to go from right here. All right, we're gonna send it. Let's go. Oh shit! Oh! Wowzers. I don't think it quite has the like off the line torque to be able to like take that, you know what I'm saying? All right, so now that we got the hill of doom out of the way, it's time to send this thing off of a couple of jumps. Now I can already tell the suspension on this bike is extremely good. I think it's the same suspension that they use on the 2DO Solio 1, or at least the same brand, which is very soft suspension. So this stuff is absolutely destroying some of these bumps on these trails here. Whew. All right, so we have arrived at the jump track. Now, I've never seen a video of somebody attempting to jump this bike, so this might be a world's first on the Happyrun G300. Or I'm sure it's not a world's first, but it's a first for me for sure. Now, these are the Surron jumps. Everybody and their mama who has a Surron around here comes here and absolutely sends these jumps. So if I'm even remotely comparing this to a Surron, or at least calling it a budget Surron, I gotta at least try to hit some jumps on it. So I'm gonna try to send this jump track here. Now with that rear hub motor being kind of a counterweight, I'm a little bit worried that if I get just barely off center, it's not going to want to correct mid-air as fast as it should, and I might actually crash because of it. But I'm going to go ahead, just do a little test run here. Let's see. I don't got to do a full send, do I? Oh. Whoa. Oh, what the heck? That was light. All right, let's send that again. Oh, dude, that was light. The suspension on this bike certainly helps it jump very easily. I'll show the camera here. This stuff is seriously good. Whew. All right, so now that we figured out that this thing can in fact do the off-road things that it should be doing, we're gonna go ahead and take this thing on the road for a top speed test. All right, so top speed test. Make sure to go ahead and lock your guesses in the comments down below as to how fast this bike is going to be able to achieve. I'm thinking we're gonna get about 45. That's reasonable. Now, also keep in mind that we're not quite at a full charge, right? They always advertise the top speed being at a full charge, and we're at about 4 bars or maybe 80% right now. You know, this should be a pretty good real world top speed test. I also weigh 170 pounds, so just keep that in mind. And without further ado, what's stopping us from sending it? So, hoping for 45. Let's get it. And these pedals are doing absolutely nothing. I'm gonna get tucked in for this one. It says we're already doing 37, 38. The acceleration is pretty gradual once you get past like 35. Thank you so much for going in front of me. All right, so I got cut off. So now I'm gonna give this a second try. 3, 2, 1, go. Whew. Let's get it. Just gonna keep going. I'm gonna let off as soon as I get to this crossroads here. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so I saved the data for our first top speed run. I'm gonna go ahead and do a second one, just in case. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get it. 45 miles per hour. Let's go. I'm just gonna pin this throttle till the end of the road. We're gonna see what we get. Oh, and cut it. All right, so I just took my bike home to reveal the speed data. I'm gonna go ahead, stop this recording. We're gonna check it out. We're gonna go to trip history. May 12th. So on the second test, we went 44.13 miles per hour. Definitely not that 48 miles per hour that they promised, but again, I am a heavier rider and we do have less than full battery, so it does make sense that we're going to get a little bit less than 48. Now back to the question, should you get this bike or should you save up and get a Surron style electric motorcycle? I think if you're kind of like me and you're maybe a less intense rider and you're also looking to save money but you want a Surron, it might be a good option for you, right? $2,500 down from what, like $42,000 to $5,000 is definitely a good amount of money to save. You're still going to be able to get a similar speed. You're still going to be able to rip this thing off road. I definitely wouldn't trust this to do the same kind of stunts and like jumps and stuff that you would be able to do on a Surron style electric motorcycle, but it definitely does suffice and you're going to be able to have a lot of fun on this bike if you're looking to save some money. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my opinion, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon in the next one. Later.